Welcome back to Learning with Laser. My name is Allison Laser, and today we are talking all about fine motor and little baby hands and hands as they grow bigger. So if you have crayons around your house and you think, cool, I'm preparing my child for school and for their fine motor development because I'm giving them crayons, unfortunately that will not cut it. Children need exposure to different tools in order to use and build their muscles, not just in their hands, but in their forearms and their shoulders and in general arm motions. So I am going to talk through a couple different toys. I'm going to put pictures of the toys and I will have links for the toys as well. But know that not only am I working on this short video that gives you some ideas, but I am also creating a mini course that should be out in April that focuses in extreme detail on fine motor development for your children. So starting before they turn 1, babies are working to try to put their thumb and their pointer finger together in this pinching motion. Now, a good way to practice this with your kids is to use a tissue box and different fabric. Kids love pulling things out. I think we've all seen the wipes disasters where they've gotten a hold of the wipes and pulled them all out. You can do this yourself very simply with a tissue box and different materials, or you can buy one that kind of looks a little bit like this, and it gives them that ability. This introduces sensory exposure to different fabrics, textures, and it requires hand-eye coordination for them to pinch and pull. Do not expect them to put them back in, though they may try. That's something you'll need to do for them until they've kind of figured that skill out. Another good thing for babies is rattles. That shaking of a rattle requires a good, solid hand grasp in that large arm movement. Again, maybe babies aren't born with great muscles, so we are working to develop those, and that's why rattles are so important. Peg puzzles. These peg puzzles are those basic puzzles with individual pieces with the big peg on top. This requires children to grip the peg, and then they've got to turn and twist until the piece fits correctly. And this is a good tool for any age group. Next, you've got pounding toys. Anything with a mallet that they've got to bang into place. It's the grip and it's the pressure of having to use big arm movements to hit the mallet hard enough to push the peg in. One of my favorite things is the old school Popup toy where you like twist it and then it pops up like a little Jack in the Box, but there's like 4 of them as an option. This toy requires small fine motor movements like twisting the knob, pushing the knob, turning, and they require full fingers to push the top part back down. They're also a good way to work on shapes, colors, animals, and all that jazz. As kids get older, finding toys that require more hand-eye coordination and problem-solving skills will benefit them. They'll be interested and easily engaged without realizing what kind of major skills they're building and what kind of muscles they're working. Large lacing beads are excellent. They require that pinching motion and intentional placement of the bead onto the thread. And they're a good way to practice shapes, colors, patterns, and they're reusable. They're not actually making a necklace for them to wear, but rather just the lacing and the pretending, and it's reusable and so it should last a while. Next is the wooden lacing games. These are mess-free, easy to carry in your purse or in a diaper bag. And again, it's that fine motor pinching motion and then pushing the lace through the wooden shape and pulling it out the other side, and it requires that back and forth motion. Buckle toys. Any sort of buckle toy where the child is practicing buckles and clasps are great for cognition, hand-eye coordination, and problem solving. My only warning with this is as you teach them buckles and clips, they will learn things like getting out of their car seat. So be prepared for that. Polka Dot books are absolutely my favorite. So kids can interact at a very young age with a story. They can count, they can point, they can search, and the more all while having the story read to them. So it's a very interactive play-based book. The pressure and pointing needed to poke the dot is a necessary skill, and it teaches tracking, which they'll need for reading eventually. Next is squeezy tongs. Excellent for any age in sensory bins, and they work on hand strength and scissor muscles. Lastly is nuts and bolt toys. These take time and patience. They work fingers and wrist movements, and they're excellent for little boys whose hands are active and wanting to do things and build just like their dad. All right, for older kids, a scissor skill kit is an excellent activity. You'll see improved scissor skills and fine motor and hand movements while your child is deep into a very engaging activity. So that's those simple books that come with all kinds of things for your kids to cut, and in the end you're throwing it all away, but the amount of skills that they are gaining from that are astronomical, and it's very engaging. Noodle Knockout is a super fun game that uses tongs and tweezers to play, and kids will work on hand strength, counting, and color recognition, all while playing a fun little game. Building tools and toys are also great for fine motor, finger dexterity, and problem solving. When it comes to arts and crafts, babies can use big egg-shaped crayons that are like full fist grip, or big pieces of chalk. And as they get older, they can either use fat writing tools or tiny broken pieces. So the fat writing tools require that palm grip, and the tiny broken pieces start to force their hand into the tripod grip they'll actually need for writing. Dot markers are excellent and really fun. Again, that palm grip, or it can start to force them into that tripod grip. Now here's my only caveat and kind of warning. Tripod and triangle shaped writing tools are a great way to introduce that tripod, that natural grip, like we do every day. However, giving your child only tripod or triangle shaped crayons and markers and things is going to inhibit those proper muscles from fully forming, because they're going to rely too heavily on the tool. So introduce those tools, but then also add in round crayons and pencils that their fingers won't naturally go into that position unless they know to put them there. It's a balance between introducing and also strengthening those skills. Safety scissors are bladeless and almost completely safe. They're great for using with Play-Doh, and an amazing way to introduce scissor skills and work on that hand strength without the threat of a crazy haircut. Large paintbrushes and paint cups are my favorite. So the paint cups have the tiny little hole that the paintbrush has to go in. So your child has to work to put the paintbrush back in that hole. It also helps you teach them how to scrape the paint off so paint isn't everywhere. And my favorite part is if you put a plastic bag inside of the cup before you pour the paint in, it's very easy to clean up at the end and you're not dealing with crusty old dried up paint. Play-Doh and toys. Obviously, Play-Doh is awesome for hand strength and finger motions, and toys to go with them force, again, those hand motions, wrist motions, and big arm motions. It's great sensory exposure as well. So here's a goal with fine motor. You've got to remember that your child's hands are not fully developed. The muscles are not there, but that does not mean they're not capable. Have your child try opening their own snacks, pulling doors closed, and other life skills that require those hand and arm motions. And as they struggle, model and assist them. Guide them, teach them, show them. Use toys and games to strengthen and practice these skills, because remember that the more you do, the less they'll be able to do on their own. And one day they'll be at school or at a friend's house without you. So set your child up to be successful and take the extra time to teach them and let them try on their own before they need to do it on their own. Because I'd rather have taught them and let them feel confident in it than see them struggle when I'm not around to help. All right, as I said, stay tuned to learningwithlaser.mykajabi.com for a full mini course on fine motor. Check below for the links for a lot of these things that I talked about and a lot of the pictures that you saw today. And like, subscribe, and comment below if you have any questions. I'm always here to help. Thanks so much.